guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Rosie, and thank you so much for taking a moment out of your busy day to spend a few moments with me. So this month I am finally going to be participating in a Pinkfresh hop. I will leave a list of all the participators within my video description, so make sure that you go to each of their channels, check out their videos, and show them some love. Make sure that you like and subscribe to each of their channels. It really would help them out. So I am super stoked to finally be participating. I have been wanting to do it, and just timing hasn't really worked out in the past. This month the gods have aligned and I'm able to do it. So for this particular project, I went on the Pinkfresh website and I saw that someone had created this particular project. I'll leave all of her information in the video description down below as well. So I did not think up this project. However, when I saw it, I said that's something that I definitely need to do. I basically I like to take a look at things and then see if I can make it on my own type of thing. But in any case, I'll leave all of her information because I think it's absolutely adorable and she did a fantastic job. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. First, I'll tell you the different pieces of chipboard that you're going to need to create the house and the base, as well as the mini album. So first, what you're going to need is the base, and you're going to need a piece of chipboard that's 3 5/8 by 5. Then you're going to need 2 pieces for the front and the back side, and that's going to be 3 1/4 by 5 5/8. You're going to need 2 pieces for the sides that are 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 5 by 3 3 3/4, and that's going to be for the roof. So these pieces are everything that you're going to need to build the house. So let's go ahead and get started on the first pieces. Okay, so I have my sets in front of me. Let's go ahead and work on the sides first. So I have my 2 chipboard pieces that are 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. I have added my double-sided tape, so I'm just going to remove the paper backing. Then we're going to bring in our 2 pieces of scrapbook paper or cardstock. That's 6 1/2 by 5 1/4. And all we're going to do, we've already added our double-sided tape, and we've scored at 1 inch all the way around, and we've miter cut our corners. We're just going to lay it right in the middle. So use those score marks as guides. Go ahead, let's do the other one. Just place it down. Well, now let's go ahead and remove the paper backing from all 4 sides on both pieces. Okay, let's get rid of the garbage. And then all we're going to do is just fold up the sides, just like this. Okay, just like that, and then fold over the 2 shorter sides like that and like that. Okay, so that's all we've done. Let's go ahead and do that now to the other side. So I'm doing the longer sides first. That's just personal preference. You don't have to do the longer sides first. However, in my crafting, I've always found that it's just easier that way. But certainly you can do it the other way if you want. Now, let me just go ahead. I noticed somewhere there was a little piece that was, here we go. It was a little bit pointy, so I'm just getting rid of that. Now we just need to add the liner pieces to the middle just to cover it up. So let's go ahead and bring in those 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 3, and of course my glue is stuck, so give me a moment Give me a moment. Okay, and let's go ahead. You can use your tape as well. Okay, and just add it right in the middle. Just like that. Go ahead and do that to the second piece. Now there are lots of different ways. I've seen this done a lot of ways where you don't use the hinges. People that do, perhaps only on two sides. I am going to try it this way, and let's see. I like to know that my pieces are going to be really stuck on. Okay, so our sides are now done. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on the base. So this is where the house is going to sit on top of. So I'm going to grab my chipboard. That's 3 5/8 by 5. I'm going to go ahead and just place it down on my 5 5/8 by 7, and that 5 5/8 by 7, this is where we scored at 1 inch going all the way around. We miter cut our corners. We added our double-sided tape. So now I'm just going to fold over the longer sides on both sides, and then work on the two shorter sides, just like that. Okay, so now our chipboard is all covered. Let's go ahead and grab our liner that we're gonna place right in the middle, and that is the 4 3/4 by 3 3/8. So that's the liner piece, and again, we're just gonna go right in the middle, like that. Okay, so now we have our base all covered. Okay, now let's work on the front piece. So it's going to be a little bit more involved with this. Okay, so for the front, this is where the front of a house kind of has that kind of peak at the top, if you know what I mean. It almost looks like a triangle. So now we need to cut that from our chipboard. So we have our two pieces that are 3 1/4 by 5 5/8, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to, and let me just grab my scoreboard to see if I can highlight it a little bit better for you, because I know it can get confusing. So here's our chipboard, right? This is our 3 1/4 inch side. If we put it in at the 3 1/4 inch side, we're going to make a mark at 1 5/8, right? And then what we need to do is we're going to turn it to the 5 5/8 side, and we're going to make a mark at 3 1/4, okay? And then we'll just make a line going straight across so you know which way to go all the way across, right? Okay, so now we need to make a mark from our center to the line that we drew. So I'm just going to make a line. I'll take the other piece of chipboard just kind of as a guide, make a line, and do the same thing on the other side. So starting in the center and going down. Okay? So you see how I kind of made that mark? We're going to do the same thing now on the opposite, on the other piece of chipboard. Yeah. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing there? I'm just kind of connecting it. Now basically what we need to do is we need to cut these. So I will bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to, because I have the little piece of metal, let's see, right there, just going to do that. And then do the same thing on the other side. This is one thing that I love about my trimmer. It's a Fiskars True Control trimmer. So now that I have that done, now it's super easy just to use my scissors and literally just cut. Now you certainly can do it just with your scissors as well. Let me put that one aside. Let me bring back in my other one. So you can certainly use your scissors again if you want. I like using my trimmer. It goes through nice and neatly, not to mention I'm not wearing on my scissors, but it's totally up to you. I've done it both ways just so that you can see. Okay, so now we have the front of our houses now in that design, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to line our house pieces of chipboard. So what you're going to need are 2 pieces of scrapbook paper or cardstock. That is 5 by 7 and 5/8. And let me just grab, here's more tape. Okay, so we need to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to remove some of my paper backing that I had already placed on. Get rid of all this garbage. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just place it right in the middle. Okay, and do the same thing to the other piece. I'm going about 1 inch up. I'm leaving about 1 inch on all sides. Okay, then what we need to do is we have way more cardstock here than we need, so I'm going to leave about an inch again on all 4 sides. Do that to the other one as well. Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to do like we do on the other ones. We're just going to fold over on all sides. So see, I just kind of folded on all sides. Go ahead and do that to both of your pieces. So there you have it. Now you're going to notice that you have some intersecting points where the triangle meets. I'm just going to give myself a release cut. Let's see, and I'll maybe do it at the top too. So I'm just going to do it right on the sides where the triangle starts, and then I will do it at the peak. And then I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to also miter cut the bottom of the house. Those 2 little boxes, I'm going to remove those 2 little boxes on the bottom and miter cut. So there's that. I've made my relief cuts. I'm just going to now miter cut those 2 little boxes on the bottom. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get some tape all over it. Okay, so I've added my double-sided tape all the way around, and I've taken off the paper backing. Now let's go ahead and just start to fold over and just do the best you can, you know what I mean? So I'm just folding over as best as possible. Now you're going to get to the point where you have the point at the top. Go ahead and just cut away the excess. Okay, so there's 1, and then fold over the remaining one, right? And then just remove the excess. Okay, so now you have your house front all covered. Go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side, to the other one rather. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and we've covered our front pieces, we need to line these pieces, right? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to need 2 pieces that are 3 by 5 3/8. And what we're going to do is on the 3-inch side, we're going to make a mark at 1.5. And then we're going to make a mark at 3. And then we're going to simply do the exact same thing again where we connect the marks. So now we have our triangle again, and we can just cut away using our scissors. So now again, we have this. So now if we measured this correctly, it should be a perfect match, which it is. So let's go ahead now and do the exact same thing on this side. So there's our triangle, and then we're just going to use our scissors and cut away where we just made that mark. So just follow that line. Okay, so there we have it. Now, if we turn it over, there is the liner for the inside. So let's go ahead now and attach that. I'm just going to use some glue and burnish that down to make sure that all that glue seeps to the edge, because that's what's going to make our liner piece really, really adhered to our front and back. Okay, and now we have our front and back piece to the house all covered and lined. Okay, so next let's go ahead and put together our sides. So we have our two sides, right, that we've covered and lined. Now what we need are a few pieces of scraps. So this is where your scraps are going to come in. You're going to need two pieces that are 4.5 by 1.5 and two that are 3 1/4 by 1.5. You're going to score all 4 in half and add your double-sided tape, and this is going to create a hinge. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to add one piece like that, and then you're going to attach the front piece to the other side. Does that make sense? And that's what's going to kind of hold it together. We're also going to use glue, but I like using the added kind of stability of using a hinge. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces, right? We have it in front of us. We have our two side pieces, we have our front and back piece to the house, and we have our 4 hinges. And I've already added my double-sided tape, and I've taken the paper backing off, hence why it's sticking to my fingers. Okay, so the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just grab one of my sides. Now I'm just going to add it to the side of my side. Okay, so now that we have our side and our front piece, now we need to attach the other side. So we're going to go the opposite side, right? Because it's going to go here. Okay, so on the other side, that's going to go opposite this one here. I've already attached one of my 4.5 by 1.5. Now I'm going to attach my 3 1/4 by 1.5 on either side. Okay, so now as you can see, I've got 3 sides with hinges. Essentially, it's going to sit like this, right? Now we need to attach our other front side. But what we're going to need is just one more hinge that's going to attach here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've gone ahead. Here is my other side. I've just added another hinge here on the inside bottom. Okay, now let's start putting this all together. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me move this, and I'm just going to lay it down, right? So I have a side, my front. Now I'm going to need another side, right? So just going to attach it. My hinge were already done. Press that down really well. Okay, so now we have our 3 sides, right? Now what we need to do is we need to attach the other front or back piece. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to attach this side to this side. So I'm just going to, let's see, move it up closer. Like that. And like that. Okay, so now we have side of front, side of front. So when we kind of fold it, you see how it kind of makes it look like a house. See what I mean? Okay, So now on one side we have that added hinge, right? Now we need to attach it to this side. So I'm just going to move these other pieces out of the way and just attach it. Try to get it as even as possible so that your house isn't lopsided. And press it down really, really well. Okay, so now you can see that we have our house, right? Now we're going to have some little gaps here. It's not a problem. We are going to be gluing that, so don't worry about it, but that's why you want to get as close as possible. Okay, so now we have our house that is basically the shell of our mini album, okay? Now I have added a couple of extra hinges. So now basically this is gonna sit right on top of the base. This is the other one that we did. So you just wanna make sure that you turn it over, that the liner piece, not the outside, but the liner piece is what your house is gonna go on top of. So I've left just a little bit, remove some excess pieces here. I've left just a little bit of room all the way around. And I'm just going to, I'm going to sit it down just to kind of see where we're at space-wise. Let's see, move it over just a little bit. Okay, so essentially this is what it's going to look like, right guys? We've got our house and it's sitting on a base, okay? So now what you can do is let's add some more glue all the way around because we want to make sure that this stays put. We already have double-sided tape, right? But we're going to add glue all over the place and then go ahead and just place it right down. And just press down. Keep applying that pressure. Give it a couple of seconds. Be patient. Because what we're doing is we're just making sure that both the tape and the adhesive, the glue that you used is really on there well. I'm going to use my bone folder just to press down all those edges. Okay, so now there's that, right? The last thing that we need to do is we need to get a little liner piece just to go on the inside because you can see all the hinges and all of that on the bottom, just to kind of clean it up. So I cut myself a piece that is 4.5 by 3.25. And I'm just, you know what, let's get some glue on here as well. I have tape down, but I'm also going to add some glue. And I'm just going to place it right inside. Okay. Okay, so now we have the inside line. We have our house shell completed. Okay, so now really it's a matter of decorating the house. How do you want it? The inside is going to be storage if you want. Now the roof is what's going to actually be our mini album. So why don't we go ahead and get started on that? We can leave this off to the side for a second. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on the roof, which is actually going to be the mini album itself. So what you're going to need for that are the following. You're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5 by 3.75, 2 of those. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock or DSP, that's 7 by 5.75. You're going to score at 1 inch on all 4 sides and then miter cut your corners, remove those 4 corners on both, and add your double-sided tape. And then you're going to need 2 pieces for the liners that are 4.75 by 3.5. And again, I've added my double-sided tape to everything. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my chipboard pieces, place it right in the middle of my 7 by 5 3/4. I'm going to use my score marks as a guide for where to place it down, like that, and I'll do that to both pieces, again using my score marks. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and fold over all of our sides. Pinch in the sides if you need to, and okay, and then just do the other side. Sorry about that. Stop, my battery died. All right, so let's go ahead and do the other side as well. Oops, I should have done the longer pieces first, but that's okay. It's all okay. So let's see, fold over those and that. So now we've folded over all 4 sides on both of our pieces. Now let's grab our liner pieces and just add it right to the middle. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. And do the same thing to the other side. Okay, and I'm just going to use my bone folder just to make sure that everything is pressed down nicely. Okay, so now we have our mini album base, which is also the roof. So let me just bring in, just to kind of give you a visual, bring back in our house, right? And then what we're going to do is one side is going to be one side of the roof, you see? So when we place these both together like this, it becomes the roof, which is also the mini album. So when we take off the roof, it'll be our mini album, and inside you'll have places to add additional photos. All right. So now that we have our front and back cover to our mini album, which is also the roof, now we need to create pages. So it's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do 6 pages. So let me tell you what we're going to need for that. All right, guys, so we're at the home stretch now. Let's just finish up creating our mini album. So I have a lot of different things kind of going on here. So here are the pages that I put together. So we have 6 pages. The matting, I used cardstock, and that is 4 3/4 by 3.5. I went a little ahead of myself and ended up doing them all when I was just supposed to do all but one. So, but again, I am using matting here. Again, it's 4 3/4 by 3.5. I cut myself 6 pieces, and then I cut myself 12 pieces of cardstock that are 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. And what I did was, with the scrapbook paper only, I brought in my We Are Memory Keepers chompers. I went to my tools area and I kind of looked through all of them, and I ended up deciding on for the corners for the pages themselves, I used the stub, the opposite option. I used the stub feature on the pages, so that's what I did for the pages. But for the covers, I used my deco side. So each side of your chomper has a different option. One side is the stub, the other side is the deco. So for the covers, I decided to do with a different edge. So I'm doing the deco side. So I cut myself 2 each of a different pattern, 2 for the front, 2 for the inside, and I think I'm going to do these for the outside. So let's go ahead and just grab your adhesive. You can use double-sided tape, or you can use your glue. Again, I'm bringing in my reptile glue, And I don't actually even think that it matters which corner chomper you use for the covers, because honestly, I'm doing this on the fly if you haven't noticed. I am going to be using some metal corners, so I don't even think that you're gonna see it, but I still did it just in case. Let's go ahead and do the second one. This whole project I'm kind of doing on the fly. Like I mentioned, I saw this on Pinkfresh's website. Somebody else had created this, and I kind of took a peek at it and kind of figured it out, looked at their website when I had questions, but for the most part, I love doing that. Seeing something online and then just in your mind, figuring out how it gets put together. Sometimes it works great, other times not so much. But that's all part of the creativity, right guys? It's always trying those different things. Okay, let's go ahead now and flip it over. And now we're going to line the inside. So again, I'm going to bring in now my other 2 pages. And for this one, I already added my double-sided tape. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the paper backing on all 4 sides and get this pressed on. All right, let's see. Looks like my laptop stopped. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this down. Okay. Okay, and if it's a little bit off, it's not a big deal. Okay, let's go ahead and get the paper backing off the next piece, my next liner. And one more. And you will go ahead and place this down. Press it down. Okay, so now we have our mini album cover, which is also again the roof. So there is that. So now we have our covers and our pages. So now it's up to you. You can either use, I found these in my stash. Let me just show you something super quick here. Where is it? Here it is. So I have this little tray, well it's not so little, this tray of all kinds of different little tools. So I have different type of corners for boxes, for pages, you know, different feet for boxes, all different kinds of things. Bulldog clips, hair clips, keys, and then hardware, all kinds of different things, and drawer pulls. So I have lots of different things, so I decided to go through this and actually start using them. So that's where I got them from. So what I did was, I pulled out 8 of my corners, because I'm going to do all 4 sides, and I have 2 covers. Okay, so as you can see, I have already added my metal corners to the front of my covers, and I've left the last one to do with you. So I'm picking up the corner, and it's a little tight at the beginning, so all I'm going to do is just kind of open it up just a little bit, just to give me a little bit of room to make sure that it goes really to the edge of the corner. And then I'm just going to apply it right to the corner. Just let it slip out. And if it's still tight, open up the back just a little bit more. So really kind of press it so that it's in the corner. Once you have it, then just use your pliers, apply some pressure so that the prongs apply really well. And there you have it. there are your corners. Now, doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? Okay, so the next thing and almost the last thing that we need to do is create some holes so that we can bind our pieces all together. Now, you can use book rings, you can use string, you can use wire from a cinch, you can do all sorts of things. What I thought might be cute is to use the cinch. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my mini cinch machine. It's by We Are Memory Keepers. Again, it's the mini. And let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do is go right in the middle. So I know that my middle is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a mark at my, and I think it might be easier just to bring in my scoreboard. And I'm just going to make a mark. That's all I'm doing. So you don't need to use your scoreboard. It's totally up to you. Once you have your first mark, then you can use those holes to do the rest. Okay, so I have made my mark at 2.5 inches because the cover itself is 5 inches. And I'm just going to go ahead and line it up right in the middle. So just like that. Okay, and then we'll just, make those holes. I need to stand up here and give it some pressure. There we go. And now we have a perfectly centered set of holes, okay? So now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side, to the other piece rather. Okay, I've made my mark again at 2.5, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it in all the way and press. Gotta put some effort into it because we have multiple pieces of scrapbook paper as well as chipboard. So now we have our 2 pieces. So these are our covers, right? Now we just want to make a, we want to make some holes on our pages so that we can connect everything. Okay, so now, now that we have done the holes on the covers, I'm just erasing my little pencil marks. Okay, now we need to make holes in our pages. So we want it to be in the middle of our pages, so that's at 2 3/8, and basically we are just going to go ahead and get that right in the middle. Okay, so now that we've made our holes on our covers, now we need to make holes on the pages. So I've marked in the middle on the longer side at 2 3/8, which is the middle, and I just made a very light pencil mark on each page, just showing me where the middle is. And we will go ahead and do that on all of our 6 pages. Just make sure that if you are using the cinch machine that you place your page all the way to the back. Okay. And last one. Okay, so there is now our holes on our pages. So let's bring back in our covers and let's decide, first of all, let's go ahead and just remove the light pencil marks, just very lightly I did it. Let's get rid of all of these. Okay. Okay, last two. Okay, so now we need to decide on the order that we want our album to be in, okay? So I'm just going to open this up like that and just start deciding what I would like to be first. Like that maybe. Let's spread it out a little bit so I can get a good feel. Let's see, maybe like this, like this. Let's see, like this, and maybe this. Yeah, okay. So that's the order that I want them to be in. I'm just going to kind of put it all together now and just make sure that all the holes line up the way they should. And they do, so perfect. Okay, so now it's a matter of deciding, all right, how do you want to bind it all together? So again, you can use wire, string, really anything that you want. So I'm going to decide on, all right guys, so I decided to use ribbon as my binding instead of wire or book rings or anything else, and I think it just adds just a different touch. Let me show you what I use. So I've had these in my stash for such a long time. I got them from Hobby Lobby a long time ago when they were on sale, and they're just chiffon ribbon. So I picked this up, and I ended up using, instead of just one color, I thought it might be kind of cool to use the two different colors and just alternating the colors to give them a different look. So there you have your mini album. Now it's just a matter of decorating it any which way you want. Let me go ahead and bring back in our base that we started with. So here is our house, right? And then this will serve as the roof. So just kind of making it as even as possible. But let me see if I can hold them both together because it just sits on top. There is your house. Now let's go ahead and just decorate any which way we want. I'm going to go ahead and decorate, and then I'll be back and I'll show you how I pulled it all together. Alright guys, so I have finished decorating my house, and oh my goodness guys, I think it came out absolutely adorable. So let me first kind of show you. So here is the roof, and of course the roof is the mini album. Let me see if I can hold it this way just to kind of show you. Like that. And then of course the roof is the mini album. So for the purposes of this video, I just filled it up with some shred, some golden white shred. I thought that that would really make it pop. So I've done that. I've added gold foil cardstock on the corners, some gold gems, some ribbon lining each of the corners, created little clusters, and so on. Added some flowers, so that's the base. And then here is the mini album or roof. So what I did was I have placed ribbon around as the binding, and then I added a gold chain going around, almost making it kind of look like shingles. So kind of looped that around and then added some different charms. You can see that I've layered up a lot of different pieces, flowers, gems, and that's okay. Integrating your gold with silver, I like that contrast. And then on the other side, again, I did the same thing where I have kind of done my chain, kind of dripping down with some charms. Again, I'm using cut-aparts matting, flowers, gems, things like that. So there is the roof, and then the mini album itself. Let me just open it. So here's the front cover. Here I just created a tuck spot. I've added a flower, some puffy stickers, created a little cluster. And again, just utilizing all of the different things that I had with this particular collection. I had this little die cut. I just backed it onto some gold mirror cardstock. More puffy stickers like you can see here. I've placed a library pocket and then placed a banner on top of it and then just layered some more puffy stickers. And here is the back. So there is my little mini album, and I just absolutely love this. So another way to create your little mini album. What about if we do something that perhaps you're moving into a new home, a new space, whatever it may be, documenting that special time in your life with a house. And of course on the inside you can place whatever you want, whether it be little memories, more photos, whatever it may be. So there you have it, guys. I am absolutely just in love with how this turned out. Alright guys, well I really hope that you enjoyed today's project. If you did, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, guys, thank you so much. Your support goes an awful long way in helping my little channel out. Alright guys, until the next time, stay safe, be kind, and keep it creative.